What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and just wanted to give you a quick update on our 2023 rosters for the upcoming 2023 college football season on NCAA Football 14. Whether you have the revamp mod or not, these rosters will work. And I've now completed all of the Power 5 teams up to Phase 1, which means the players from last year that have gone on to the NFL or graduated, those players have been removed. We've also updated all the transfers. Some of the more recent transfers have not yet been updated. I should have those done really in the next week or two because I've also started adding freshmen. And so that's where we're at now. We're adding freshmen. We're doing these most recent transfer portal additions, and then we're going to be moving into the group of 5 teams as well. So just wanted to give you an update on where things stand. For the most part, the Power 5 rosters are good to go. As soon as I finish those more recent transfers, and there are a few big ones like I think I've done like 15 teams that are completely updated, but we've got some more to do, like Peyton Thorne going to Auburn, for example. There are some transfers that still need to be done, and once I finish those, I'm also going to be putting together the Dynasty file, which is going to give you the 2023 schedule. And so I'll go through and show you where we're at. Again, all the Power 5 teams are done for this first phase. You see Caleb Williams is our top player. Joshua Carty, a kicker, also a 98. Marvin Harrison Jr., 98. Blake Corum, 98. Those are the 4 98s overall. There will be some ratings changes once all of the preseason magazines come out. I've got the Athlon one, but I really like to use Phil Stills because I think it gives us the best depth chart. Just based off of I've studied this the last couple of years, and Athlon's is done so early, and they usually have some stuff that's just wrong. So once we get those All-American teams and everything, there'll be some adjustments. You see Emeka Egbuka, Brock Bowers, Jeremiah Trotter, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Tommy Eichenberg, Joe Alt, Notre Dame. Those are your top players. Top quarterbacks: Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels. And you see I haven't done Northern Illinois, so they've got a QB number 6. All of the group of 5 teams have the generic players, which means if you start a dynasty, you can have those players auto-named, and you're not going to have players from last year's roster, because I always start with a brand new, fresh roster every year. J.J. McCarthy, 92. There's Jordan Travis, 92. Sam Hartman, 91. Jalen Daniels of Kansas, 91. K.J. Jefferson. So you can see, I'll give you an example of a team. So LSU, a team that I just finished. I think it might have been one of the last teams that I just did. And so I'll just show you LSU. They've got their freshmen. This roster is good to go, completely done. I'll just quickly scroll through it. You can see all the players are done. The most recent transfers, there's Logan Diggs. Again, no generic players here on LSU. As I just, again, quickly scroll through here, show you the roster for LSU. And you can see, freshmen, everyone's on here. They are good to go. And they probably won't get updated again until Phil Stills magazine comes out. And no, these are not the same player. You can see West Weeks and Whit Weeks, different players there. And so we'll go through and show you the whole roster here for LSU. And then I'll give you an example of a team that is not 100% complete. So let's go back to Alabama, another team that I just worked on. So I've done their most recent transfers, but I haven't added all of the freshmen yet. You'll see some of the freshmen, some of the newcomers. So you can see Tyler Bugner, he's QB number 1. And you see some freshmen. There's Justice Haynes, true freshman running back. And then you're going to see some generic players still on here. So that's where we're at with a lot of these teams. They're going to have some of the freshmen. They're going to have the new transfers, but there will still be some generic players. But you're going to have all the main players that play, that start. Those will be updated on all of the Power 5 teams, and eventually all of these players will be filled in. I think we're doing really well as far as the schedule. I think I'm ahead of schedule, definitely from where I was last year. So feeling pretty good about that. And again, if you look at the non-Power 5 teams, it's just going to be a bunch of generic players. And I know a lot of people complain because to get these rosters, you have to join the Patreon. And I get it. I know there are other rosters out there you can get for free, but hopefully ours are going to be done way sooner. And when I say ours, it's just me. I'm one person. I do every single thing on these rosters all by myself. And there's just no one else out there that is doing that can do that. And no one can do it for free, because if I did these rosters for free, then I would have to work more in other areas to make enough money to make a living, and I wouldn't have any time for rosters. So I have to charge some money to be able to do this. It's the only way that it can happen. If I was making enough money off of all of my YouTube content to where I could pay my bills and everything with that, I would absolutely do these rosters for free. I'm not doing this to get rich. I'm not doing this to make money. It's just I want the rosters to be done, and the only way that I can do them the only way I can spend as much time as I do doing them is if I can get a little money from it. And that's why I do Patreon. Again, not trying to get rich, not trying to scam anyone. It's just a way that you can support not only the roster project, but all of the things that I'm doing on YouTube. And so I ask that you please consider, if you are able to, joining the Patreon. Again, you can get these updated rosters. You can get all of our old rosters. You can get the Dynasty file that's about to come out, or last year's Dynasty file. You can get all of that. And again, the more support I get on Patreon, the more time I can spend on the rosters. I'm still working on them. I've spent tons and tons of hours on them, but I could spend even more time on rosters if I had more support on Patreon, because I could do a little bit less on YouTube because I wouldn't need to make as much money there. So at the end of the day, I just have to do what I have to do. I understand that a lot of you don't like that, and I've read the comments. I know a lot of you complain, but most people that are on Patreon, or a lot of people on Patreon, have come to me and said that these are the best rosters they've ever played with. They've talked about how well they fit in the Dynasty, because I actually made the rosters based off of the formula the actual game used. So the rosters and the ratings fit in with the recruits in your Dynasty. And I also adjusted it to where the players would play like they play in real life. So there were actually like 2 years that went into the research on how I came up with the ratings formula that I use. And every single player has a formula for every attribute. It's really in depth. I spend a lot of time on it. And again, a lot of people have said a lot of positive things about these rosters. So if you'd like to get them, or maybe you don't even care about the rosters, you don't play the game, and you just want to support what we're doing here, you can join us on Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the support, for all of you that have joined the Patreon, and hopefully we're going to do some big things here in the future. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.